welcome. Quite a round of applause there, but things weren't looking all that happy over the last 15 days. Everything wasn't hunky-dory. There were a fair bit of frayed tempers as well. Over a fortnight since demonetization has kicked in, how has it fared? Has people's experience become better over the last 14 to 15 days, or have things gone downhill? And more importantly, where is all of this headed? We've got an august panel right here with us and a wonderful audience. Again, a round of applause for all of you. Quite a few questions we are hoping will get answered today. Questions that the people have, because that is the most important point. Let me first introduce our guest to you. We've got banker and member of the Aam Aadmi Party, Meera Sanyal. We've got senior editor, India Today, Shweta Punj. We've got chairman, Oxis Investments, Sujit Bhalla with us. The politicians over here, you hear them every day on television, but let's see if they are able to face the people's questions. Dr. Ajay Kumar of the Congress. We've got National Secretary of the CPI, Atul Anjan, and Juvenile Rao of the BJP. Let me first start by asking you, Juvenile Rao, over the last fortnight plus, we've seen over 25 changes. Is this the government adapting, or is this rank confusion?
No, this is a government that is receptive to people's suggestions. It's a government that wants to make it much easier, because the decision taken by the Honorable Prime Minister is one of its kind. This is the first time a demonetization on this mega scale has been done, which is a frontal attack against corruption and black money. There are several vested interests which wanted to perpetuate this the corrupt system that prevails for several decades. So certainly, I think government came up with a lot of proposals. Even when the Prime Minister addressed the nation, he made several proposals. But as days progressed, certainly there was a lot of feedback coming from various parts of the country. And these changes were made, amendments were made.
Okay, so let me just get the people's opinion very quickly. The changes that have kicked in, have they made your lives easier? Do you have easier access to your cash at banks and ATMs? All those who are in favor say yes.
No, you see, a lot of these changes do not affect audience sitting here. You see, a lot of them are made for farmers, made for people who have had marriages in families. So these are very special interest groups.
The exchange limit, the currency exchange limit, I think affects all of us.
No, exchange limit, I think 35,000 crores has been dispersed through exchange, a facility which was misused also by a lot of people. I think certainly there has been inconvenience to the people. There is no denying that fact at all. It's life not as normal as before. There is a bit of inconvenience, but certainly I think one has to look at the intent and the feedback that we get from all across the country.
Okay, so the intent is good. Meera Sanyal, putting on your hat, not of an Aam Aadmi Party member, but a banker. You think this is desirable? It's only natural that there would be hiccups, and it's only a government who is trying to adapt as they see the problems cropping up.
So I think there were three intentions as we gather from the move of demonetization. The first was black money, the second was counterfeit money, and the third was a cashless economy. I think there is no doubt in anyone's mind that these are very, very good objectives. But as they say in English, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The question is, and this is a question which needs to be asked and I'm sure will be debated here, were these the right policy measures to deal with any of these objectives? But the more important question, which I think concerns everyone in the audience and everyone in the country, is how have these been implemented? And I think there can be no doubt at all that the implementation has been shockingly very, very bad.
Okay, let me get the opening comment from Sujit Bhalla on that, because you seem to differ with Meera Sanyal and have written extensively about this.
No, look, I don't disagree for one moment that there have been deep problems in implementation, that there's been a hell of a lot of inconvenience to all of us. You should actually ask the question to the audience, do they think this step was worth it a year from now? You ask them, have you experienced inconvenience now? Absolutely the case. Just ask, how many of them think this is a good measure? The reason I am supporting this measure, it is for its potential. What it might bring about, not in the very distant future, but in the next 6 months or so. If we've had 70 years of corruption, of black money generation, and it has expanded over the years, and it's made a criminal out of all of us. I don't know if there's any person over here who's had white money and that has not been converted into black, one way or the other. Okay? Now this thing has got to stop. It cannot be reduced to zero. So let me make it very, very clear. There is no country in the world where black money is zero. But what you do want is the black money creation to be substantially reduced. If a few important policies, including finance of elections, which all the politicians seem to not want, and this might, if you will, push them into accepting cleaner election funding. If your tax rates are brought down, income tax rates, and if property taxes are brought down, reduced to zero, and stamp duties reduced, you will see a very, very different India.
All right. So you're saying this is step one, but other things need to be done.
And one last thing, I do not think the argument can be made, and has been made, that listen, those are the policies you're recommending. Why couldn't they have done that on its own? Well, I just ask you to look at 70 years of effort to change any of them. Not only has those policies not been introduced, but everything regarding black money has gotten worse. So don't tell me that, listen, you could do these policies any day.
Dr. Ajay Kumar.
You know, first of all, I say that when you are going, the reason for the demonetization is to find out the black money was the primary objective. And if it's only less than, if you look at the total economy, if it comes down to the cash part of it would come down to 2%, you can argue, because it will come to only 2% of the actual black economy, because most of it is in real estate, etc., etc.
But make a start somewhere.
Let me start.
Isn't this unnecessarily pessimistic? It's like you're targeting only a fraction, so let the fraction alone.
But I'm with you. So what I'm trying to say is, first question is, when you're not attacking the 98%, then fundamental common sense says, now
why are you so certain they won't attack the 98%?
So let me finish. I'll just put you in the perspective. The 2% leads to a great deal, and all experts are saying that we are maybe moving towards a recession. I don't want to, and we pray that it doesn't happen. But there's a significant impact in joblessness. Only L&T has recently announced 14,000. My own city of Jamshedpur, a lot of temporary workers are being let off. The agriculture is in distress. So is it the price ready to pay for the 2%, or to make a big, Rao Sahab, I'll just finish it, just to have a big bang effect? The question is, again, is, in terms of the implementation, like Mr. Rao said, the Prime Minister has been saying we thought about it for 10 months. I need to keep my phone, because every time they're just changing the rules and regulations. So if he was doing it for 10 months, and this is the level of preparation, I am very, very scared for this government. The second part is, can the government tell me when will this finish? When will they have it? What is the methodology? The lines in the ATM, and I'll finish off saying, is come down only because you've reduced withdrawals. It's not because you solved the problem of the guys not needing money. So let the government tell us, when will we get it? And now the last and the most important point is, we are all walking away from 1 year from now. If you do the survey, believe me, you should do it 1 year from now.
Nearly 86% of the value of the currency was in the 500 and 1000 denominations, and a lot of that money was actually being stocked. It was not in regular circulation, and nearly about 20,000 crores of rupees are being pumped into the system every day. So by end of December, you will have at least 10 lakh crores of value of money in circulation. So it's not going to be May.
No,
by
but when you already knew, and
December,
I will let Shweta expand on that. Isn't it also a fact, Shweta, that already there was an attempt made to try and see if a measure like this can be successful, because the number of notes which were in circulation, the projected number of notes, 1,000 rupee notes, fewer than that were actually supplied. So these experiments had been done.
That's right.
Despite that, we see this complete chaos. So if this preparation was happening, why are we seeing the mess we're seeing today?
Well, yes, the government was preparing for it, and what I have heard and what I've been told and what my sources have told me is that they were in fact hoping to make this announcement in the budget, budget for this year. But then they decided to defer it because the preparations were not done. And ATMs, about 10 banks were told to recalibrate their ATMs so that they could disperse 100 rupee notes.
Nearly in the very first 10 days, 1.4 lakh crores of money was it was disbursed from the banks, and all this is new currency or 100 rupee notes.
Right.
They are not, banks are not issuing you old notes of 500 and 1000. So even if you do a back of the envelope calculation also, this more or less which match with the number I gave you. I'm also giving you information based on my sources.
Okay, before Meera Sania responds to that, I want to get in Atul Anjan. Do you think that yes, maybe to begin with, the execution was ham-handed, but at least some changes have been made to make this rocky road smoother, and they have worked?
I don't know what government is having in mind. Every day they are coming out with a set of agenda. new rules, new formulations. Till now, more than 25 amendments has already taken place. And even then, people are in the queue. And worst situation is in the rural India. Rural India. It is reported. 33% ATM in some semi-urban areas and some village areas, they are not working.
This move has dented the stock of black money. There is no doubt about that. You've heard reports of, stashes of cash being found.
Exactly.
People are coming and depositing money. It's made a dent. However, is this it? What else do we need to do to really curb the flow of black money?
Exactly, and that is something that the government will answer. But I want to quickly get Meera Sanil and then a few of our viewers who have questions. Yes, Meera Sanil.
I think let's come to the facts, sir. And I disagree with Mr. Rao because I think actually none of us here really knows what is happening. My first question, sir, is the person who is the custodian of monetary policy in this country and of the currency is the Reserve Bank of India. Why do we not have Mr. Urjit Patel coming in front of the nation telling us what is happening? Sir, you said that the notes had been replaced. Let me give you the data. A total of 2,203 crore notes were removed from circulation amounting to 14.6 lakhs. Of those, 1,571 crore notes were 500 rupee notes. Till date, excuse me, sir, 500 rupee notes are not in circulation. The capacity of our printing presses, and we have 4 security printing presses, is 2,600 crore notes a year. If this had been planned, and I think her figures are absolutely correct, because there is a report by the chief economist of the State Bank of India dated April 2016 talking about the problems that demonetization would face, exactly pointing this out. If you had started planning then, and I disagree with Surjit because in your security presses, nobody knows what you're printing. You could have started then, in 7 months you would have had adequate 500 rupee notes to stack your banking system. Your banking system, sir,
let me answer this.
You have sucked the liquidity out of the economy, and that is going to have a major consequence.
I think the RBI and the government could have easily planned to make it a complete seamless transition. 8th announcement can be made, 10th morning entire money is available in liquidity or entire money is available for circulation. But had you done a preparation of the kind that you are talking about, the entire country, all the banks, all the ATM handlers, all the printing presses, they all would have known this is being done. In 2014, you replaced entire currency in 500 notes. If you print a similar quantity to replace on 10th morning, which fool would not know that all this is being done to withdraw all the money that was only replaced in 2014?
So there was complete distrust even with the bank.
This cannot be a secret anymore.
But the question again,
it could not have been a secret. I want to ask you a question.
The audience itself. How many of us know that in 2014 the old series of currencies were removed? Some of us who knew it, or those who are in touch, 90% of the people by and large, I'm not talking about the people maybe in this audience is extremely well informed, 90% of people living in the rest of India didn't know that the currencies were changed. So that's a very specious
No. All the people who handle black money, they know it. Don't expect people having black money not to know.
Let's have a discussion.
No, we are not talking about an average villager.
Okay, let him finish making his point.
The question again is, we all continue to walk away. First question is, cash is not a crime because 98% of the people who handle cash are honest Indian citizens. There may be a certain percentage of people.
Fine.
One sec. So we are talking about those. The second issue is the government is walking away and continuously, they keep talking about cashless economy. And I want to say it's very funny because the BJP seems totally disconnected. They said that the debit card is on 2 crore people.
No, wrong. 72 crore people.
Can I finish?
72 crores. Don't give wrong numbers.
Okay, 1 sec. Okay,
2
so
crore is credit cards.
1 sec.
72 and 2, they are worlds apart.
1 sec. Credit card and I meant credit card and debit card.
Yeah,
okay, fine. Out of that, 98% use debit card for what? To remove cash. So that is not cashless economy. That is removing cash and using it. Right. So these guys keep saying cashless economy. By some, the debit card is used only to remove cash.
No, you can also pay. You can also make
card
payments.
And then they say digital. No, one sec.
Come on.
Rao sahab, I didn't intervene you. Please
debit card can be used to make payments.
We cannot have a decent discussion if I won't intervene.
No, but you're not.
Okay, we will not have any shouting because I want to get in a few questions from our viewers.
This is the duplicity. No, but Namrata, I just want to say, Padmaja, the issue is we are continuously fooling the people of India saying cashless economy. Cashless economy. Every debit card is removing cash to pay, and when you suck out cash, you know what you're doing? you're actually like a human being who doesn't have blood, and 98% was good. So the economy is going to collapse and the joblessness, people have no clue. I hope we are wrong. But 1 year down the line, if you have a recession, if you have joblessness, if people lose jobs, if people don't get placed, Mr. Modi and the BJP government should answer.
Okay, but Ajay Kumar, I think we just had someone liken it.
They will answer.
Okay, Atulanjan. Just a second.
Mr. Rao, is a very important point. Already we had
just second, sir. We'll have
already we have 210,000 MBA graduates jobless.
Okay.
We are a
So,
1,80,000.
But you can't blame that on demonetization.
I don't see what is the relation there.
I don't not by this. Not
Okay,
by
Mr.
this.
Anjan, just a second.
But what's happening here is that too many issues are getting mixed.
Exactly. Right now, we're just talking about the implementation and whether it could have been done better. Just second, gentlemen. I think everyone's had their say. A few people want to ask their questions to you. Yes. Who do you want to ask the question to? Question to, and what's your question?
I want to ask this, sir. Modi ji demonetized 500 and 1,000 rupees note to end the fake currency and terrorism. But fake currency has already started, and even the terrorists are caught with 2,000 rupees notes. So is this the end or is this the beginning?
No, there is no fake currency. Some people have had in their possession the new currency notes. So once you won 7,500 crores of money that Naxalites had kept in the forests of Chhattisgarh, Bastar region has gone completely waste. I am quoting an India Today report. And there are Kashmir separatists. All the protests have come to a grounding halt in Kashmir because they didn't have money to pay these protesters. A lot of them were paid protesters. Okay, so these are things. Northeast, you've seen how Northeastern rebels have suddenly fallen silent. I think these are the anti-national forces which have taken a big hit because of this move. But after a few months, they will start collecting some new currency. They can draw it like you and I do. But their stock of black money, their stock of
so their existing stock has been depleted, but the fact that it can be rebuilt is not something that you're ruling out. Okay, next question.
Sir, my question is from you. What's about the gross domestic product falling down since from demonetization?
Okay, a lot of estimates about how the GDP is going to be hit. I think
we see our government, our internal assessment is that for a quarter or at the max for 2 quarters, there could be a marginal impact on the GDP. But we certainly think this is going to really
What is your definition of a marginal impact?
No, I think there are people who are saying 0.1, 0.2% of GDP. There are even Dr. Manmohan Singh says it's 2%. There are people who say 3%. But we think it will be marginal, maybe 0.2, 0.3. But it will accelerate our growth in many quarters to follow. And this will also ensure tax complaints, because all those who have been caught with this by this surgical strike, they have lost entire money. Most of them will end up paying penalty, 60% penalty. So
I thought we're not calling it a surgical strike anymore.
There is an incentive for the first time in this country. People who are honest taxpayers are breathing easy. They are feeling happy, and only the dishonest are running helter and skelter.
Okay, in fact, this is something. Okay, this is something that we're going to discuss in detail in the next segment. I have to take a very quick break, but before that, I want to take one more question from our audience. Yes.
Excuse me, sir. I want to ask that the family, the responsible person who are doing suicide, the Modi government will take the responsibility of those suicide which are committed by the people due to the commencement of this act, demonetization of money.
You see, every death is a human tragedy. Either it happens by suicide or any other means also. But to be honest, I have not seen any of the reports directly linked to this particular move per se. There are reports which allegedly some people say this could be because of this, and unless that is established, it is for the local state governments to really take a view on this. Central government doesn't come into play directly on issues like this?
I don't think so, because somebody is standing in queue to take out his money. It is you who has forced this all that. You must take the
responsibility. Please comment.
It is not an accident that has happened in Pokhran, Uttar Pradesh, near Kanpur. The railway ministry is giving 2 lakh rupees, 2.5 lakh rupees. Akhilesh is giving 5 lakh rupees, and the Madhya Pradesh chief minister is giving 2 lakh rupees.
No,
it is the duty. It is the human duty of the central government whosoever has lost his life because of this demonetization and he was standing in the process to collect his money, he should be compensated, his family.
Our condolences to all those who actually suffered a loss of life. But please come and debate it in Parliament. Please come and raise issues if you have something. Why are you running away from debate on floor of House?
We can see which way this is headed.
There is no need for debate.
The issue,
No, you express your views.
This is not
Mr. Anjan, just a second. Mr. Anjan, just a second. Okay, very quick point. I have to take a break.
Please advise Kerala government to do it if some deaths have
Nobody has
happened.
died in Kerala.
Okay.
Okay, gentlemen, please. Dr. Ajit Kumar, very quickly, I have to take a break.
See,
Yes.
the issue is, at least from my previous experience as a person of the Indian Police Service, they are saying about the terrorism and all this money is being put. Whether it's Naxal or terrorism, these are all, they're saying, let's start with Kashmir. And why the lies, and the government shouldn't be speaking this, and I really request them. June it was 800 stone pelting cases. Then July it came to 600. August it came to 500. And October it came to 300. And it went down, it kept going down. So these are data from the government. No, what I'm trying to say is, even the Naxals, which all these years of Naxalism, you have never caught cash because of the simple reason is the Naxals have front organizations. So to print this out, if the same logic, then 3 Jawans died in Assam. So I would request the government, Padma, just be more sensible and don't give this, nationalism, kind of a false nationalism favor and prevent the diverse discussion. The question is the Naxalites and the terrorists will find ways to do it.
Okay.
And they've had good...
Of course, they will rebuild.
And they don't deal in cash. One sec.
Come on,
Okay, so they will rebuild their stocks. That is not something that they're ruling out. All they're saying is the existing stash has been taken care of.
The cash component...
Do they handle debit cards?
One sec. The cash component is very small. Rao Saab, we are talking about facts. What I'm trying to say is they are front organizations.
Okay.
They have companies which they manage it. So let's stick to facts and what's on the ground.
Okay, so don't give them credit for that. But I think what is more important is addressing the issues that people are facing right now. I'm heading into a very quick break now. On the other side, what we're going to talk about is really the brass tacks. How are the problems that people are facing going to be resolved, and by when? What are the key issues, and what is the direction that the government is moving in now? Quick break. Welcome back. We are debating whether the demonetization woes still exist, how long they are going to last, and what is the roadmap the government is promising us ahead. Let me first start now by taking a few more audience questions. How many of you have actually stood in queues for banks and ATMs, and what has your experience been like?
That was really next to hell. I was there for more than 3 hours and still I couldn't get my cash. Whatever I want to do, that was really sick. And there was even more than, I don't know what the exact amount is, whether the bank is getting from RBI or what. But seriously, the people were really frustrated, so do I. But I want to ask on a very minor scale, I want to ask that who is going to monitor all that activities which the bank employees are doing? I mean, they are dealing with the cash on their personal hand, irrespective of the rules which is being made to monitor them to distribute the cash all around. Who's going to monitor that?
All right, so good intention, but lower level corruption, again, making things very hard for people.
Do you think PM Modi's demonetization would help BJP to win elections in 2017?
Well, I don't think GVL Narasimha Rao is going to say no to that. Okay, another question.
I would like to ask that while I was in the queue, I noticed none of the richest personalities or politicians were there for withdrawal or depositing.
This entire narrative about how it's only the corrupt, people with black money, the rich, the hoarders who are going to be standing in queues. Clearly, that's not happening. This girl here, she's not a black money hoarder. She was in queue for 7 hours, she says.
People who are standing in queues to deposit money or withdraw money are people like you and me. This is their hard-earned money. They have nothing to hide. People who have bag full of cash, currency, unaccounted money, they are not coming to stand in the bank queues. They are trying desperately to shift it somewhere or buy something or trade it for half the value of the money. So they are trying to find some ways of realizing some value of that money.
So aren't you contradicting yourself? They are managing to realize at least half the value of their money.
Successful. No. There are, so at every stage, attempts are being made to curb misuse. But genuine people are going to the bank queues. They are standing in the queue depositing money. So don't expect people with black money to stand in the queue and deposit 50 lakhs in account. He will get an notice tomorrow morning, income tax notice. How will he explain where he got that money from?
But you know, Sujit Pal, I want to ask you, when people listen to the Prime Minister and he says, I know for 50 days you're going to be inconvenienced, but the people who are the real sharks, they are looking for sleeping pills, they are going to be crying, you know, tears of blood. People sitting here don't see it. They are wondering, where are these tears of blood? We are the ones who are weeping in queues.
Well, you know, most of the audience is quite young, and they should know that this is how India went through from 1947 till 1991, when the first set of economic reforms were introduced. So you guys are lucky. This is the first queue you've ever faced in your life. There are many of us over here who have faced a lot more queues. That doesn't mean we should have a queue just so that you understand what it is to be in a queue. But you know, it doesn't have so many bad effects. It is important to know that when the government misperforms, and you know, we had all kinds of objections. My friend over here, he's raising his hands, he'll protest. He protested against the reforms in 1991. All I'm saying, listen, your party brought the reforms, I'm giving you credit. Yeah?
Right, I'm listening to it.
So, sun lo. So basically, you know, this is the question as well as the answer. Is this a short-term inconvenience? If it is a short-term inconvenience with long-term benefits, the benefit-cost ratio will be infinity.
Okay, I will take the public's opinion on that, but quickly, Meera Sanyal and then Shweta.
Of all the arguments I've heard in favor of demonetization, this is the worst. It's teaching the young people of India to stand in queues. This is horrific. You have converted a country. No, it's a very bad joke, and in fact, it's a joke on the people of this country.
Oh my God.
You know, we are a nation of plenty. Yes, absolutely. We are a nation of plenty. We have converted it into a nation of rationing of cash. And I want to say, Padmaja, there are three effects of this. There's the immediate effect, which is the liquidity crunch on the economy, which each of us is feeling in our homes, in our households, in our business. The next wave of this demonetization is going to be on the economy. Absolutely. And you know, as economists, you may disagree, but in rural India, the rabi crop is about to be planted. Anyone will tell you the distress that we are facing in rural India. There is not enough money to pay for seeds, for fertilizers, for pesticides, for workers. Joblessness is going. It is in front of Nirmala Sitharaman yesterday. The Export Promotion Councils have forecasted a job loss of 4 lakhs in just textiles alone. We are talking about huge job losses. So there is going to be an impact on GDP. And the third and most important thing, we are talking in the third wave of a crisis of confidence. Crisis of confidence in the economy, in the banking system, and in our currency. These are very, very long-term effects.
Absolutely. No, before you come in, Ajay Kumar, I want to get Shweta's view. You know, explain in layman's terms, because the fears here are, we are being told 50 days. What lies beyond those 50 days? Are there things we are not being told about possibly very high prices, loss of jobs, you know, the complete uncertainty about what if these new notes get demonetized again? That uncertainty, being insecure all the time. Are these things that no one is telling us about? Should we brace ourselves for that another 50 days of Kadak Chai?
So 50 days is what the Prime Minister has said, and we really hope that implementation and the money does reach the last man standing in one remote part of the country. Having said that, I would also like to say that the next 2 quarters, which is the next 6 months, are going to be difficult. It's been made very apparent. I think all of us agree on that.
When you say difficult, explain difficult in layman's terms. How will it affect me and my household?
A lot of traders have been affected, which means they will cut back on production. Demand is going to take a hit. Automobile sales have come down. Two-wheeler sales have come down, which primarily come from rural areas, which means rural income has taken a hit. And Indian economy, a big part of it rests on the growth of the rural economy. Having said that, let me just finish. Having said that, if we do manage to sort out this entire implementation challenge by the end of December, we would have really cushioned the pain. We would have really cushioned the pain. It will not be as bad. And there are long-term benefits to this if it's implemented well. There is no denying that.
All right, so you're saying that in addition to whatever happens till 31st of December, for the next 2 quarters also we can expect maybe higher prices?
Till the middle of 2017. And just one more thing, I would also like to make a point here. You know, we have been talking about politics of it, and you have different parties who are making points. And, you know, it's become a political battle. Now that the announcement has been made, the states could have played a very proactive role in implementing this. The state transport departments could have been involved to actually, get the money out to the truckers out there on the highways, which are piled up, which is affecting our supply chain. So these are the things
let me tell you what will happen. I need to come in here, please.
Okay, one by one, gentlemen. I think all the questions are to GVL Narasimha Rao, so let him start and then
I think I need to answer this. I know you asked me what is the impact on the young audience here. I think let them know this. The real estate prices are coming down drastically. You can buy an apartment at almost 50% of the value that it is selling today, because there is a lot of black money that goes into real estate. When you join your jobs, within 2 years, you might be able to buy an apartment and take a loan, for which you will pay half the EMI that you are paying today, because interest rates are going to come down. Because the banks are flush with money, loans will be given at a much... Can I finish, please? You can't paint a gloomy picture without telling the reality to the people. This is the reality. Interest rates will come down by several percentage points. You can take loans, buy vehicles, buy property. Property rates will come down.
It's interesting how the same scenario looks completely different depending on who you're speaking to.
Private investment, I think give a time to everyone to speak. This is not going to help. Let's not shout over each other.
Okay, so you've said your piece. Now let's hear what Atul Anjan has to say.
30 seconds. I think private investment will pick up hugely, because it has not been picking up because of high interest rates in the economy. Once interest rates come down, private investment will increase, therefore jobs will get generated. Young boys and girls will find jobs. Overall growth rate will increase. So for 2 quarters of limited pain, you're going to have a economy that is going to be on an accelerated growth pedal.
Okay, so from 50 days we've gone to 2 quarters.
I think she's saying something.
All right, Atul Anjan.
That's all right.
She is agreeing with me.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
I have a story on this.
Yes, so please understand. It has huge implications for all of you.
He's forgotten who is attacking.
Okay, wait. So
what Prime Minister says, I think very seriously. I hope, as he has said, "Achhe din aayenge," during the election period. We were forced to purchase the pulses at the rate of 220 rupees per kg. Achhe din aaye ki na aaye, that young people have to decide, and the people of this country. After 50 days, achhe din aayenge, whether it will come or not. But I just want to make one point. I don't want to make any comment.
Okay.
The BJP MP, a very senior MP, well-known person, known as a shotgun, Mr. Shatrughan Sinha has made a comment about this demonetization. Leave aside him. A very well-known economist, and who used to a crusader, and who has been appointed
for one
by
Mr.
Prime
Shatrughan
Minister,
Sinha, they can get 280 MPs who are speaking in favor. That's neither here nor there.
President. That is Subramaniam Swamy, what he says. Not a single economist is in this ministry and this government.
Okay.
And he has said this demonetization will bring all sorts of catastrophe to the country.
Okay, so within the BJP there is no consensus.
We know what happened.
No, one second.
All right, Ajay.
The question again is, and with all respect to the audience here, what we're saying is interest rate will come down. You can buy cars easily, you can buy houses easily. And what you're doing is getting that informal sector of India to deposit their 2,000 rupees and we need to think about this, that what kind of India we as actual guys, young people look at, is to deposit your money so that the bank gets flushed with cash, so that Modi ji can give it loans to rest of the industrialists and everybody else. So
that's a conspiracy theory.
One sec, hold it. No, there's a debate. One sec, Padmaja, one sec, can I complete?
No, but that's your theory that they're taking our money so it can give it to Vijay Mallya.
Listen to me for a second. No, can I complete it?
He has to quit.
One sec. No, one sec. Sujit.
No, you have to specify that this is your theory. The government is not saying they are going to, pardon loans or give this money to industry.
That's not. What I'm arguing is, give me a break here. What I'm trying to say is, that's what Rao's statement. I've seen all the BJP guys saying that the banks will get flushed with cash, interest rates will go down. Now, that's a very dangerous argument for the rest. One sec, let me complete, sir. Is what you're saying is all Indians in informal sector, you earn your 7,000, 8,000, your country currency is valueless, you need to deposit your money. I was not depositing this money not because I had extra money to deposit in the bank. You need to understand one thing very clearly. If I'm a villager or a sabjiwala, I got 5,000 rupees. I don't put it in the bank because I don't want to. I need that 5,000 bucks to buy next day's vegetable. Correct. And the money rotates. So that is the problem. And now, one sec, hold it here. The problem
withdraw it.
Can I
withdraw
talk?
it? Who is forcing you not to withdraw it?
Withdraw
it. What? How much? 1 lakh is not enough for you per month? 1 lakh is not enough for you per month? 1 lakh cash is not enough for you? How much do you spend?
This is not the way we do discussion.
1 lakh?
No. Can I have the courtesy?
I think how many of you spend 1 lakh in cash per month?
I'm not going to get into argument.
You can draw even today 1 lakh per month.
No, one sec.
What is this?
No, this doesn't have any sense.
Okay, wait. I want to go to the audience now.
It's a very important point. What I'm trying to say is, this continuous specious argument that people don't want to deposit money in cashless is the biggest lie. A small guy or a small trader, and all my friends will agree, they don't deposit not because they don't want to or they can't, because they need it tomorrow to roll that money.
Okay, you're not.
Don't do it. After 30th
Get that
December,
fact, and you will not
December,
because
don't do
you
it.
are suit boot, you'll not know the problem.
What?
Okay,
I
wait.
think
This young girl has a
You will not know the problem.
You are crony capitalist.
You will not know the problem.
Yeah,
Debit card is a cashless economy. What
15
nonsense.
lakh crores. 15 lakh crores of
No,
scams.
debit card is not cashless, sir.
Okay, gentlemen, if we're done with the name calling, can we please have a question from this young girl here? This young girl has a question.
I want to ask, instead of criticizing the government and PM, what are the steps taken by you on the individual level for the betterment of the people?
When the issues are raised by the political opposition on farmers, seeds, the government goes back and says, now you can buy your seeds. When you raise on transport, I'll tell you the transportation they allowed today 500 rupees now. Because they know that if the transportation has come to a halt, so the job of the opposition is to continuously raise issues to the government saying, listen, what are you doing to the farmers? What are you doing to the housewives? And that's the job of our job, because at the end of the day in opposition, you don't do policy. So our job is to continuously get the government to at least adjust. Why do you think?
By bunking parliament?
In parliament when we come, your Modi ji is not ready to listen.
No, by bunking,
what
you are saying here,
as far as the bunking of the parliament is concerned, it's only 8 days.
8 days?
8 days.
Only 8 days, sir?
One second.
No, just a minute. And when you were in opposition, in the last UPA government, 2 months, 23 days.
No, 2G scam. 2 lakh crore. No, what? That's 2 lakh crore scam. 2 lakh crore scam.
Okay, so your job is to raise the people's problems in parliament and outside it. I completely understand. But wouldn't you much rather raise these issues than sloganeer or shout slogans in the well of the house? I don't really think there are any issues being addressed if you just yell slogans. Let's take another question, please.
Sir, just now you said that the people who are taxpayers are the honest people. But what about the people who are engaged in low-level occupations, just like agriculture sectors? If they don't pay tax, तो आपका कहने का मतलब ये है that if you are trying to say that they are dishonest.
No, there is no.
The people who are working in agriculture sector.
There is no.
Absolutely. Government is not.
That's what you think. That's what you think. Agriculture income in this country is not taxed. We think agriculture sector requires all the encouragement, support for production.
That the people who are paying tax are honest.
No, people who have unaccounted money or dishonest, who ought to pay taxes but not paying taxes. It's not that
in the rural area banks doesn't function. It is the cooperative bank.
You ruled this country. You and Congress ruled for 70 years. You and Congress ruled for 70 years. You have done nothing. You have done nothing.
You have also.
You have done nothing. You're indicting. You're not the one. You're indicting your own party.
The issue that was raised by Dr. Ajay Kumar, the fact that everyone has been painted with this broad brush of people having black money, whereas there are people who work with this cash transaction. Have they been completely overlooked, hence plunging them into the sort of crisis that we are seeing right now?
Look, if you are an honest taxpayer, then let me emphasize, the only inconvenience you are having is that you're not getting all the money that you want to be taken out. Because an honest taxpayer has got honest deposits, there's no problem. Other than there isn't enough cash in the economy. Indeed, what the government has said is that you can take out 24,000 a week. Now the average consumption of an average Indian is about 6,000 a month. So basically that's 96,000 that you can withdraw. I do not know anybody who's in the tax-paying bracket who relies so much on cash. You use credit cards, you use checks. Nobody's saying you can't use checks. Nobody's saying you can't use your credit card. I mean, what is this nonsense? The other people who are dependent, but you said a taxpayer. A taxpayer does not has enough, if you will,
including the
bank
traders you were
deposits.
talking
I need to answer this because Sujit is a smart guy. He's talking about food consumption, and he doesn't care about economy. So the shopkeeper, shopkeeper will eat 6,000 rupees of food to keep his body intact. He does business. So that's the money. So he says, no, you don't need money. All of India will come to standstill because Manya Pradhan Mantri ji said, no activity, bas khate raho, dhanda mat karo, padhai mat karo, ghar mein baitho.
Shweta, you want to respond to that?
Come on.
Shweta.
Sorry.
So before we started this show, there was an Aaj Tak show, and we saw the support that the scheme, that this entire demonetization exercise has had amongst people here. I think what Prime Minister Modi has done with this is he's tapped into this deep-seated resentment, because the fact is that inequality in India grew at its fastest pace in the last decade, and that's what he's tapped into. There is a very unfair, uneven distribution of wealth. Black money is a huge integral part of our economy. It's almost, according to World Bank estimates, it's about 23% of India's economy, if not more. So it's, you know, it's there.
Which was pretty much the theme of the 2014 campaign as well. That,
right.
You know, you raise your voice against all the evils you've seen over the years, over the last 10 years. And now he's invoked that same sentiment again.
Right.
A couple of questions because I have the last 1 minute left. Yes.
I want to ask to Sujit, sir. He said we'll get the relief of pain and inconvenience till the December end, right? But what if it doesn't get? Because 50 days are not enough. It is a short span.
Yeah, it doesn't. If the pain continues, Modi and the BJP will pay a huge price. They'll be thrown out. It's very simple. So therefore, we have to understand that why did a politician take this step? I don't have the answer, but why did a politician take this step to cause so much inconvenience? Is he a masochist? Does he want to lose elections? So I think there should be, likely is a game plan, which will allow him to basically make the people appreciate what he's done. If this thing stops here and no policies follow, then I think he's making a big mistake.
Okay, so ultimately the power to decide is yours.
State Bank of India has got a very good interface for cash. One sec, for the cash transfer.
Okay.
Like Paytm. But the Prime Minister doesn't do any credit to him when he goes on Paytm. Look, there is a government organization, irrespective people say SBI.
No, come on. I think what the Congress has done for the last 10 years, you have looted 15 lakh crores. Modi is trying to get it back from the system.
Okay, I have the last 5 seconds. So I am going to end with an opinion of the people.
I think the money can be given by the Tatas, Birlas, Ambanis, Adanis, Big Bazaar, and
All right. So the question right now is to the audience. 50 days of inconvenience, 50 days of the kind of hell as one audience member described it, and maybe 2 quarters of slow growth. Are there people here who think that in the long run it's going to be worth it? People who say yes, please raise your hands. Okay, people who say no, raise your hands. All right. So I think that says it, but anyway, so it's of the people who are over here, it seems the majority think that in the long run it is not going to be worth it. Maybe a year from now, as Sujit Bhalla was suggesting, the government needs to ask the people again whether it was all worth it. And ultimately, of course, the ultimate sign is going to be the election results, whether people are really with the Prime Minister, with the government on demonetization. For now, thank you very much to our entire panel and to that audience for having joined us on this special show. Quick break, news and updates continue right here on India Today.